Okay, so this is the fifth and final part for the series of videos for our chapter number 10, mortgage backed sector of the bond market. In this video, we will talk about commercial mortgage backed securities. Commercial mortgage backed securities are backed by a pool of commercial mortgage loans on income producing property. By income producing property, we mean multifamily properties, i.e., apartment buildings, office buildings, industrial properties, shopping centers, and health care facilities. The basic building block of CMBS transaction is a commercial loan that was originated either to finance a commercial purchase or refinance a prior mortgage obligation. There are two types of CMBS deal structure that have been of primary interest to bond investors: multi-property single borrower and multi-property conduit or commercial lending entities that are established for sole purpose of generating the collateral for the securitization. So in terms of credit risk, commercial mortgage loans are non-recourse loans. What we mean is that the lender can only look to the income producing property backing the loan for interest and principal payment. If there is a default, the lender looks to the proceeds from the sale of the property for repayment and has no recourse to the borrower for any unpaid balance. So the borrower does not have any responsibility for the unpaid balance. The lender must view each property as a standalone business and evaluate each property using measures that have been found useful in assessing credit risk, right? So each property should be analyzed separately. For mortgage-backed securities and asset-backed securities in which the collateral is residential property, typically the loans are lumped into buckets based on certain loan characteristics, and then assumptions regarding default rates are made regarding each bucket. In contrast, for commercial mortgage loans, the unique economic characteristics of each income-producing property in a pool backing CMBS require that credit analysis be performed on loan-by-loan basis and property-by-property basis, not only at the time of issuance, but also monitored on ongoing basis. Regardless of the type of commercial property, the two measures that have been found to be key indicators of the potential credit performance is debt to service coverage ratio and the loan to value ratio. The debt to service coverage ratio is the ratio of the property's net operating income divided by debt service. The net operating income is defined as rental income reduced by cash operating expenses. A ratio greater than 1 means that cash flow from property is sufficient. Otherwise, it's insufficient. The higher ratio, the more likely the borrower will be able to meet debt servicing. For all properties backing CMBS deal, the weighted average DAC ratio is computed. An analysis of the credit quality of an issue will also look at the dispersion of DAC ratios of the underlying loan. For example, one might look at the percentage of deal with DAC ratio below a certain value. Now let's look at a basic CMBS structure. As with any structure, finance transaction, a rating agency will determine the necessary level of credit enhancement to achieve the desired rating level. For example, if a certain DAC and LAT ratio are needed, then these ratio can be made at the loan level. Then subordination is used to achieve these levels. By subordination, it is mean that there will be bond classes in the structure whose claims on the cash flow of the collateral are subordinated to the other bonds classes in the structure. The rating agency will require that the transaction be retired sequentially with the highest rated bonds paying off first. Therefore, any return of principal cost by amortization, prepayment, or default will be used to repay the highest rated tranche. Interest on principal outstanding will be paid to all tranches. In the event of delinquency resulting in insufficient cash to make all scheduled payments, the transaction servicer will advance both principal and interest. Advancing will continue from the servicer for as long as the amounts are deemed irrecoverable. Losses rising from loan defaults will be charged against the principal payments of the lowest rated tranche outstanding. The total loss charged will include the amount previously advanced as well as the actual loss incurred in the loan underlying property, in the sale of the loans underlying property. There can be call protection at the loan level. At the commercial loan level, call protection can take the following forms: prepayment lockout, defiance, prepayment penalty points, and yield maintenance charges. Let me explain what are these. The prepayment lockouts is a contractual agreement that prohibits any payments during a specified period of time. So you cannot make any payments. So let's suppose a lockout period of 2 years or of 5 years. So you are not supposed to pay anything. Uh, def- Deficiency is rather than loan payment, the borrower provides sufficient funds for the servicer to invest in portfolio of treasury securities that replicates the cash flows that would exist in the absence of prepayments. Unlike the other call protection provisions discussed next, there is no distribution made to the shareholders, bondholders, when the defense takes place. So from that amount which borrowers are paying, you pay to the you buy some bonds which provide the same cash flows as the borrower was providing, right? So you just replace these borrowers with a bond, but you do not pay back to the bondholders. Prepayment penalty options. There are payment penalty options in which you have to pay a certain percentage or a certain month's interest if you are prepaying. Yield maintenance charges is, in simplest terms, is designed to make the lender indifferent as to the timing of prepayments. The yield maintenance charge, also called the make whole charge, makes it uneconomical to refinance solely to get a lower mortgage rate. While there are several methods used in practice for calculating the yield maintenance charge, the key principle is to make the lender whole. However, when a commercial loan is included as a part of the CMBS deal, there must be an allocation of the yield maintenance charge amongst the tranches. We are not going into detail, but this is just to prevent the prepayment. There can be structured protection, which is the other way. The other type of call protection available to CMBS transactions is structured. Because the CMBS bond structures are sequential pay by rating, the AAA rated tranche cannot pay down until AAA is completely retired, and a AA rated bond cannot be paid off until A rated bonds, and so on. However, principal losses due to defaults are impacted from the bottom structure to the upwards. That's all about this. In next chapter, we will discuss about asset-backed securities.